Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about another person on YouTube and preaching to the choir because this person who has asked me not to reveal who they are because, well, it makes sense. They exist in a ecosystem on YouTube that any expression of self-doubt would just lead to constant attacks. So it tracks, it makes sense. But they said they felt like they were preaching to the choir. And I was like, yeah, I get that sometimes too. People tell me that. But I always just look at my inbox and, see the volume of hate mail I get. And it lets me know that that's not the case. Do you get hate mail? Well, yeah. You're obviously not only preaching to the choir. And that seemed to make the person feel a little bit better. But then I started thinking about that phrase and the way it gets used. It gets used to suggest that you're basically doing something that's pointless. That's got to be a phrase that originated with people who aren't familiar with the gossip inside churches about choirs or anybody really. It's worth remembering that the pastor does in fact preach to the choir. When they start preaching, they don't tell the choir to leave. Even if they are aware of all of the information, it's worth hearing again. A lot of times, you're not saying what you're saying in an attempt to convince people who feel differently. I mean, yeah, I think most people on YouTube, most people who are political commentators, at times will tailor their message to reach out. Some people do it a lot more than others, but it's something that happens occasionally. But even if that's not something that somebody does often, it doesn't mean it's pointless. Because even if somebody is aware of that information, it's probably really good to hear it. It's that old adage, I don't say this to convince somebody, I say it so those who already think like me know they're not alone. I'm going to suggest that has a whole lot of value. It keeps people thinking about the larger issues. It keeps people engaged. It makes them push further, hopefully beyond you. And that's how you end up moving that Overton window. That's how you end up creating that better world. That is why, on a long enough timeline, we win. So when you hear that, when you hear people say you're preaching to the choir, it may be true. You may be preaching to people who are predominantly already of your faith, ideologically speaking. But maybe your sermon helps them to keep the faith, helps keep them moving forward, and spurs their ideological growth. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.